Nope, I was just practicing. That's what it was. I was trying my lack of microphone voice there. That works, yeah. What I was saying is, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. I'm gonna continue working on some Pulumi scripts. I've got some rework to do with um, with the load balancer, and so yeah, and I appreciate. Yeah, audio is hard. Yes. Um, yeah, I wasn't even there at the beginning. I don't think Fragberg. So um, yeah, audio is hard. That's why we call it twitching, right? Okay, so how's everybody doing? Appreciate you stopping by. And I do have this game set up, so you guys are more than welcome to play with that as well. Here later, I'll add the Plink game on there because I think that's fun too. Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'll either get one of those. I'm more tempted to make one. Not that it's cheaper if I make one, but just for the fun of it, just so that I can say I did. See what happens. But that, or I'll just get a Stream Deck and move on. I don't know yet. So, okay, one of the things I'm going to do is instead of let me rephrase. The last time I did this, yeah, and I've thought about that is because I have a touchscreen laptop that I could use, um, or what I'm very tempted to do is get a since I already have another Raspberry Pi, get a 7-inch touchscreen screen for that, and just make my own. Um, I mean, if you look at a Stream Deck and somebody has already done this, they'll tear it apart. The It's only one screen. It's just one touch screen in the back, and with just a little plastic buttons that when they press down, they make a connection that goes around that area of the screen. That's it. So, not that they're hard to make so much. Not that I'm not going to create the plastic pieces for it, but I'll just do the touchscreen and go from there. So last time I was messing with this, I was creating a two virtual machines for the food subnet, and because I'm in the South Central U.S., Azure decided to put the VMs in two different availability sets. Problem is that I did not specify availability sets. And then when I tried to specify availability sets, it still gave me problems. Yeah, you like food? So the real quick spot on this and tail learn code, if you would put a link to CodePalooza on Friday. Well, on Thursday I'm speaking there. I'm giving my talk on microservices. On Friday afternoon I'm giving this talk on Azure Networking, and I'm using a storyline where I have suppliers. I have food merchants, clothing merchants, farming equipment merchants, and garden supply merchants. And so my storyline is kind of just to help kind of talk about some of the customer traffic and how that relates to networking traffic. So what I needed to do is build out a load balancer, figure, all right, let's just create two virtual machines for the food vendor. And the problem, like I said, it created two different availability sets, and I don't know why. That doesn't make sense. Certainly when they're not specified. And the when you have a load balancer with the two or one or more virtual machine in there, they all need to be in the same availability set. So, in lieu of that problem, and I really don't have time to keep chasing that down, I'm just going to go to a different region. So I will go to Central US and not build out or use availability sets, but instead I will create two of the VMs for the food. And you can see I'm just looping through, and it just calls build VM, which is this method here. It creates a network interface one per VM. Then I've got the availability set right here, and since I do not want that specified at all, I will nix that. And let that go. Okay, so let me double check. Okay, I think that's good for now. We'll try and build. Now, I tell you what, I do have, there is a problem I do have, but it's not insurmountable. Just have a little bit more to delete and start over. So let me go back to my resource group where I do have this resource group and the virtual network. They're both set up in South Central. What I'm going to do instead, and I do want to start over, I'm going to go ahead and break the connection and delete the resource group and the virtual network inside it. Now, doing that also means that I need to remove the dev stack that I have set up here. That way it's break the connection and it's no longer tracked and done. But it will mean that when I restart, everything will be brand new. That's okay, because I'm going to recreate this resource group and everything in it in the central US, not South Central. But I got to wait for this part to be deleted first. I know it's food time. Food time for most of you. Of course, I think the original Chris Jones is just it's probably bedtime for him, if not not already. It's about 1 in the morning there. Got a rice cooker going. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, you'll be going to bed shortly. Yep. Well, thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate the help. Certainly, as I'm trying to get my twitching feet underneath me and get more practice with this, and I've learned quite a bit from Chad at Tell Learn Code. He streams 5 days a week, 10:30 Central, and has done a lot. Did he ever drop that link? I don't think he did. Go to codepalooza.com. Check that out. Oh yeah, leave the stream on. So yeah, and we'll raid somebody that's going to be outrageous or something. I don't know, just so you can come back and watch that part. Codepalooza is the conference that's coming up, and Chad with Tell Learn Code, he runs that conference. And it is this Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Wednesday is the workshops. Jitter Ted! Hey, buddy, how are you? Can't stay long. Thought I'd drop by and say hi. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. And, oh, that reminds me. Let's see if I've got this working. Hey, there we go. I did finally get that set up today. So check out For Some Java is Jitter Ted and Frackberg. Nobody knows what Frackberg does. We don't know yet. Who am I missing? Sean, do you stream? I've seen you in other stuff, but I just don't know if but Sean, let me know if you do stream and I'll do a shout out for you. And of course, Tell Learn Code. Sweet. Okay, cool. All right, now let's go back to this. I have got my original 2 resource groups, so they're fine. So now what I need to do, let me just double check that everything builds. This is going to be in the central US. I don't want an availability set. We're going to come back and do the load balancer. Okay. All right, so let's do this. Pulumi up. Yes, we're going to create a new one. We'll just call it dev. Doesn't matter. And then it's going to go through, it's going to rebuild that project. And, well, sort of. I've had a problem with that yesterday. So it's going to go through the output of that project, and it's building a plan of what it needs to do. And there's our plan. So it's going to build the resource group. It'll build a public IP address for the firewall. That reminds me, and I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say no for now because let's skip the firewall and the route table at the moment. That firewall is $2,000 a month. And if I don't need it to solve this problem, so I don't want to build it out yet. Okay. Let's see. So this is what I did. I've saved my file, but I didn't rebuild it. I want to see if this thing actually does a rebuild. It says build, but if firewall's still in the list. Okay, awesome. It is not going to build that firewall, but it will build the 2 virtual machines for the food. Okay, awesome. Done for the evening. Take care, folks. Catch you next time. Hey, Chris, thank you very much for swinging by. I appreciate it very much. And have a great evening. I'm sure you and I will be trolling some other channel tomorrow. Okay, so right now this is creating things. Thankfully, it does a lot of things simultaneously. Yeah, more than likely. Yeah, we'll be trolling somebody. BBB's on tomorrow, I believe. So, and Chad just loves it when I troll him. Oh, okay. I did finally see your thing. Sorry about that, Sean. Wait. There we go. And I still don't have music piped in yet. I will do that. Mostly Terraform user myself. Cool. I have played with Terraform, and I do like that. There's okay. Um, I'll tell you what. While this is building, this is going to take a few minutes. I'll show you some of the stuff that I've done with Pulumi. Like right there, I want a new virtual network. I'm going to give it a name. Here's the arguments for the virtual network. I'm repeating the name because if you don't, it will have a VNet1 and then a random set of characters after that. It tries to be more unique that way, but it's really, I don't need it. I want very specific names. So anyway, I give it by repeating the name, it will stick to that name specifically. And it's going to build the virtual network at this location inside that resource group, which I've predefined, obviously. And then my address space is a collection of IP addresses. Now, right now, I'm just doing a single range. You can do additional ranges. I don't want to make it any more complex. And again, this is for a conference talk. I don't want to be extra complex on things. And then I set up a subnet called suppliers, and it's a /25, so it's 128 addresses. And then just build out my other subnets, each at a /25, and they're contiguous, so they build on top of each other. And then I have, because I was doing a firewall last night in that stream, it has to have its own subnet. So could I have gotten smaller than 25? Sure. But again, I'm just trying to keep it somewhat simplified. So, yeah, you just give everything /24. Yeah, I hear you. And I would have, except I would have ran out of addresses, so I had to do a slash 25 because out of a 1024, I'm already at 768, because I had to come back and add this guy here. Yep, exactly. But they are contiguous. So, and what I mean by that is, and Sean, I'm sure you probably already know this, but I have a 0.0 and then I have a 0.128. So the first 128 of that fourth octet is on this subnet. The second set of 128 is on the next, it's in the same octet, but it's in a different subnet. So therefore, I don't have a gap between the two, but I don't need that gap either. Yeah, good. You caught that. Yeah. Cool. All right. So then I build that out and I have a collection of subnets. Now, the thing about Pulumi is this just does a new, it creates a new object. And that's it. There is no command that says, okay, go. When I run Pulumi up and, oh, cool, it's already done. How cool is that? Right? I mean, it built multiple virtual machines, a VNet, subnets. It built a network security group with a few rules, and we're done. That's pretty cool. So the reason though is I have a collection of subnets outside of this method because other things, like for example, when I go to build a VM and I have this network interface, I have to tell it what subnet it belongs in. Well, if it's trapped in inside of another method, I can't get to it, and so I was like, well, I'll just build a collection on the outside and reference it this way, because it's one of those things that's referenced in multiple places. Here's the other thing: when you're dealing with load balancers, you don't put virtual machines in a load balancer. You put the network interfaces of a VM connect to a load balancer because a VM can have more than one NIC. And I've done this before, used it and built out a VM and has a custom firewall, and it's got four NICs. So I've got a public side, the HA, the internal side, and oh gosh, there was one for something else I don't remember off the top of my head. So four different NICs, four different subnets that they were sitting on. Hey, Curious Drive, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. How are you doing today? It seems like only a couple hours ago that we were chatting. Let's see. Yeah, we have that for our products, the management interface, the public-private interfaces. Yes. Yeah, and speaking of firewalls, although this is going to use an Azure firewall, that's for simplicity. Builds out. In fact, there's not even any rules for it for this project. But I have built out a Palo Alto using the off the Azure Marketplace and a FortiGate, and we did a little comparison off of those two. So that's some cool stuff. Yes, I'm in a lot of the same programming streams. You're right. That just means that we have great tastes, right? That's what that means. So at least that's what I'm gonna run with. Okay, so now that's built, I can come back to here, refresh my screen. There's my marketplace, resource group, and they're all built in Central US. And okay, just double checking here. Uh, yeah, well, let's try to go for a better face next time. I'll hold up somebody else's face as a little sign. But yeah, when you put somebody's face to name, and in a sense, you do get to pick up a little bit more on their personality, what kind of person they are, and um, and kind of better identify with them. So here I am. Can't hide too much. I do conference talks. I run a user group. I'm on camera several times a month anyway. So, and now I've streamed twice already. Hey, Jerry. Uh, wearing the wrong shirt. OU, buddy. OU. That's where it's at. I got nothing against OSU. That's Oklahoma State University, not for the Ohio. Um, but uh, but OU is just a better college. Let's just face it. They're just a better college. Okay, so I've got my food VM. Get over here. Let's go to availability and scaling, not in an availability set. Okay, very key thing there. And I will double check as well. Maybe you'll check me out on my stream someday. Absolutely. Now, are you streaming? Curious Drive, um, are you already streaming? And if so, I'll do a shout out. And Musical Bookworm, I think you are. Let me do this one first. The adventure. Let me make sure I spell it correctly. Initiative is Jerry. Let me know if I misspelled that. Um, that's my friend Jerry. He lives in the same town as me. We've known each other for several years, and he's a developer as well. But his thing on Twitch is more D&D gaming things. So, and I'll do another one, musical bookworm. Let me double check, double check, double check. There you go. All right, Sean, there you go. Oh, that's funny because there's now me included. There's two other Sean's in chat. Yeah, yeah, you bet. That's how we get to know each other. That's how I got to know a lot of you guys, right? Is I see you guys in other streams, and so we'll do a shout out and go check out somebody's stream, and so okay, all right. So let me go to food one availability. Okay. Now let's see. WW Sean, this is something you may like. I have a Firefox add-on called Azure Mask, and I'll put it in the chat as well. A Brian Clark with Microsoft built this. Not that it's a Microsoft product. Don't confuse the thing. But Brian Clark created this. I think it's open source as well. Yeah. Okay. Good. So it's what's hiding my subscription ID, and it doesn't catch all of the IDs. If I go through Azure Active Directory, you'll find there's some things that it doesn't hide. You avoid Azure. I love Azure. So now I am not getting a notification and I cannot see who's following. Oh, thank you, Sean. WW Sean. Appreciate it. I appreciate that. Plus the ID is directly in the URL. Yeah, if you go looking. But at the same time, I can go kill all this. See, now you're gonna make me nervous. Oh man, the ID's in the URL. Now you told the world. Okay, what I don't have now is that load balancer. I like Azure. I mean, it of course it has its quirks and stuff, but once you get around enough in it, I mean, I really like it. Okay, so that's all good there. What I need now is to come back to here and go ahead and build. I want to go build this load balancer, and let's see if. Oh, that might be a problem. So here's the problem. If I go and build the load balancer, I'll show you what my concern here. I've been an AWS user for so long. Moving to Azure is just weird. Things I expect to work one day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, and I'm going to be working a lot with AWS as well, and I'm going to have that same thing. But it's also like English to Spanish, right? They're not a one-to-one translation. So there's little nuances that I'm going to have to learn. But the cool thing is, using Pulumi, you don't have to use Azure. Pulumi has, let me see if I can find it right quick. Yeah, here's the list of cloud providers: AWS, Azure, GCP, and many, many others. So even stuff that's not a cloud, like Okta is not a cloud, but it's a provider for resources in your cloud. So there's some good stuff here. Okay, so here's my problem. I'm going to go create this load balancer, and here's the front end configuration. Here's the load balancer, the health probe, the back end pool, and then this. The, uh-oh. Oh, hopefully it's still going. Cut this off. Okay. Hopefully that helps my bit rate. Okay. Just a momentary buffer. It's just a flesh wound. Well, I had multiple things going at the same time, so I figure I'll cut some of that stuff off. So here's my worry is this list of NICs for the food VMs is created when I create the NICs. My worry is now when I run this might be empty and I don't have a NIC to supply to the load balancer. So I might have to let's see. It's going to attempt to create a load balancer at the back end, pull the rule. I'm hoping to, and I'm going to go ahead and test this out. I don't know if it will go ahead and pull the ID from the state. My guess is yes, because it would be available any other place that I run it in the first time I did this. And sure enough, there's already a failure. But I had this last night with the problem of saying, oh, it's in a different availability set. So now that I was hoping, this is my first run to try this out in a different region, where South Central does not have availability zones. They only have availability sets. At least in Central, they have availability zones. And yes, load balancer is in a different availability set. So I am not escaping my problem by switching regions. I was really hoping that would work. So what this means is I am going to have to go back and be very intentional about the VM. The other part is if I look at the load balancer, there's not an option for the availability zone or availability set. What are you giving me here? Is there a way to control the availability set in which it creates the resource? Yes. What yes, yes, you can. What I'm looking for at the moment, I say that you can with a VM. I don't know specifically on the load balancer. That's kind of what I was looking for there. Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, so let me minimize that. Minimize that. And if I come to All right, so what I did here earlier, so in my virtual machine, I can say availability set ID is the ID of the availability set being passed in if it's not null. Okay, so for food VMs, I need to supply an availability set. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say build the availability set, food availability set here. Okay. And, well, that was silly of me. I don't want that there. I'm going to need it for food. Okay, and then I need to pass the availability set so it's not null. Now, that's another thing too about infrastructure as code, at least for the Pulumi stuff. Don't expect great C# coding habits here, because you'll find something that needs to be linked in another method or something like that. Then you're going to do kind of patchwork to be able to persist that information out. And like, I could have this thing return a virtual machine, but if you look at the VM, do that right quick. If I go right here to VM, you don't get the network, you get the network interface IDs. You do not get the access to the NIC itself to use elsewhere. So I had to go ahead and create a collection and persist that myself to do that. Okay. So what's going to happen, I hope, this is going to come back, build that food VM, which is going to create an availability set. Okay. Now, here's another problem I have is, since I'm dealing with an existing VM, you cannot take an existing VM and just move that into an availability set. Now, if you have a VM and you've got all your custom software on there, and you've built it out to what you need to be, you can still move it to an availability set, but I've got PowerShell scripts to do that. And what it does, it turns the VM off. It splits the VM from the OS disk. It recreates the VM inside of the availability set and reattaches the OS disk. It only takes a few minutes, but the problem is that I don't know if this is going to do this. If it doesn't, what I will do is delete a few things and recreate them. The cool thing is, kind of like what I did here with my virtual network, is I can use a custom resource option and set the protect equals true. Then it cannot be deleted. Yeah, and you're right, and I bet it does error out. So let's go ahead and let's try it. So I've got an availability set. It's going to come in. It's not null, so I'll have an ID. Goes to the availability set right here. Okay, succeed. Blow me up. Let's see what happens. Oh, I like that. It's going to replace the virtual machine. All right, let's see if that actually works. If it does a replacement, that's going to be fun. I will be happy about that. Yeah, that association failed. I'm not surprised with this one because it's still deleting the virtual machine. It can't do an assignment yet. If it's protected, it'll fail on the replace though. Um, right now the VM is not protected. just the virtual network and the subnets and the ID and the resource group. Because if I do a Pulumi destroy, then it will go and wipe out the stuff that's not set to protect. Well, I didn't want to keep recreating the resource group and the virtual network and the subnets and some other things, so I can actually go through there and start setting that to protect. And so if I need to, and I'll know here in a little bit, because it's still deleting the original VM and it'll be moving it, is I could go through the other VMs, set the protection on them, come back, delete just the food ones, and then I could do a recreate. The problem is that when you do a Pulumi destroy, you get all these warnings as errors, essentially, that says, oh, you can't, the flag is set to protect. I can't do this. I have to tell it to just skip the preview and just go anyway. Okay. It says it replaced the food VMs. And really, that wasn't all that long. So let's see what this does. If my network is still okay, that is. Okay. Go back to list. I like to list by type. Get to things a lot easier. Oh, wait a second. Where are my food VMs? That's interesting. It did create the availability set. It's in the correct location. And no virtual machines are listed inside it. Okay. But no virtual machines. Interesting, because it said replaced. I was assuming that meant it destroyed them and rebuilt them. Fratberg, thanks for stopping by, and thank you for attempting to do that raid. I really appreciate that. I don't know. That was my first one to try, so I don't know what's going on there. And I did have that setting already set to allow all raids. So I don't know what's going on with that. So, but thank you for trying. Have a good night, Fratbird. Yeah, it doesn't exist. So now I've got to disconnect here. Yeah, Twitch is as weird as I am. Or I'm probably a little bit more weird than it. So we have an issue with the disconnect here. That says that VM is not there, which is true, but it thinks it needs to replace it. Twitch is just twitchy. You're right. Yeah, it is. All right, let me thinkificate right quick. Okay. All right, so let's discuss options. It's kind of in a weird state. What I could do, and thankfully it doesn't take very long, is I could just blow things away and rebuild. That's one of the great things about this script and the resources is they're not in production at the moment, right? There's no traffic, there's no customization going on yet. Nothing's been installed on the VMs. So I could delete things because the state of Pulumi believes that there is a virtual machine when there is not. And let's just confirm it one more time. Here. And I don't quickly see it. And that's not what I want. Though it helps. Let's see here. Yeah. It removed them, but did not recreate them. So now I have a disconnect here. Okay. What do I want to do? Well, let's see. We're early on in the stream. I could just go ahead and blow things away because I don't know how I'm going to get these back. Okay, let's just do that. I don't like doing it, but it's kind of where I'm at. And without spending some time in the docs, I don't know how to kind of fix its state problem. So I'm going to let that delete. And I will do a Pulumi stack. And that's the stack is that state bucket. And it has a name. I'm going to remove dev. And it'll say, are you sure? Yep, I am. Oh, I forgot to force it. When in doubt, blow it out. No doubt. That's exactly it. Okay, let's do that. Dev. Now, all right. So that's gone. I can't just change the name of the resource group and start the rebuild unless, well, with the virtual network still in existence, it probably failed because it'll say it's overlapping. So I have to wait for the VNet to be gone as well before it can be rebuilt. So I am still stuck on that at the moment. I tell you what I could do. Let me chase this down right quick. Where did I see that earlier? Oh, not there. There's something. So while that stuff is being deleted, I'm going to set something up right quick. Give me just a second while I'm doing this on my other monitor. Okay, I think that's all I need to do. Let's go back to here. All right, give me just a couple more minutes here. I'm bringing in a game that I like to play as well. Okay, let's do that. Behind the drop game. Okay, now let's see if that works. There you go. So you can do what is it, bang? You do exclamation plinko. Or plink, I mean. Exclamation plink, and then you can play along if you want. Whilst this is being, those resources are being deleted. Yeah. Oh, you come back for that? Oh, Fratberg, yeah. Like, I'm gonna be gone for a while. I forgot to. That's fantastic, Fratberg. Is this like I'm just that entertaining? That's kind of sad, really? You know, it's so entertaining. I forget about food. Parts of this is like watching paint dry. Yeah. It is a perfect troll move. That is funny. I like that. And sometime soon when I get time to do it, I'm gonna pipe in some music as well and get the pretzel rocks or something else fed through here. So in the meantime, I'm listening to if you guys want to listen in, I'm listening to 8-bit Metallica music. Part of this is like watching paint dry. Title of my autobiography. I'm gonna put that on my head tombstone. Stay here just a little longer. It's gonna dry. I promise it'll dry. And strangely enough, that the virtual machines is not what takes the longest to delete. It's the virtual network and the resource group itself. At least by what other parts are notified that I have seen. Death by something dumb. Yes. That's what that button does. That's a good one. Metal object and outlet. Did not work. Here I lie. Okay, that thing cleared off. Let's do that again. Link. Wrong lever. Exactly. Am I a winner? Am I going to win? Nope. I'm going to fall outside. Oh. Okay. That thing is gone. Fantastic. When in doubt, blow it out. It's gone. Death by something stupid to his hands. Yeah, I agree with that one. Oh, hit up too many times? Yeah. I figured it looks just like that statement you said earlier, so no worries. Okay, I'm just double checking things. This thing should be building it out into the availability set, so I think I should just be able to run. Blew me up. Yes, a new stack. We'll call it dev because that's a great name. It'll analyze things, and we'll be able to build out these other resources. And Jerry, are you still on? I doubt it because he's. What is today? Oh, today's Monday. He does his thing on Tuesday night, so I don't think he's. He does a that's the Adventure Initiative. Um, you still because you you like watching paint dry and sad humor and 8-bit music. Okay. All right. So let me do this again. That is the Adventure Initiative. Okay. Yeah, check him out. He does some D&D playing. Um, sad humor. Yeah. Fratberg, I think we're buddies. I think we're friends. Maybe we probably even brothers. Who knows? It's the whole sad humor thing. Yeah. All right. Build. Oh, please. Really? Failure to create the one of the VMs. Why? Yeah, and it doesn't like it when you scroll. It messes with the positioning of the other text. It's nice that they attempt to give you some status on here, but all right. So if I go here and refresh, let's get rid of that. Go to the marketplace. We got the availability set, and we've got a few virtual machines, not all of them coming up. Now, the other thing too about Azure Portal is oftentimes when you create something, you may have to spend 20, 30 seconds before it shows up. I think there's like a messaging on the back end about letting the portal know about a resource that is available. And there's oftentimes where I've seen a VM come up and you try to jump into it and it's still booting. I've done that multiple times and I have to sit there and wait a little bit and finally get to a spot where I can finish logging into the VM. Let's see, what else? Okay, it thinks it's done. Yeah, I've seen this where I click to link a VM and get a 404 because I'm not ready yet. Yep, exactly. Exactly that. Did I win? Hey, I won. Okay. Why is that not... that is not all of my VMs. Yeah, you didn't. Well, yeah, you're in my OU pocket. You're right there in my OU pocket there. Okay, so there's a problem here. Why didn't it not create the rest of the VMs? It created the NICs for them, but not the VMs. Oh, I swear. It hates you. Yeah, you're so nice. Add request, creator update. This is not a valid resource reference. This is my reason for anything that doesn't work. It doesn't like. That's funny. This is rather weird. How come it says it built virtual machines and that it did not create them? Actually, where is VM0 in the list? Here's the details. Okay, let's say yes and let's see what happens. So now it's going to attempt to create VM2 and it still has problems with those other virtual machines. Dadgummit. Is it too soon to plink? Or can I do that over and over? No special privilege for the guy broadcasting, right? So I have to wait So for I can use a link again and the drop as well. That's interesting that it failed to create the other virtual machines. I think Frackberg just went and got some food. Like, enough of this paint drying. I'm gonna go watch some grass grow. Frackberg, I will be here. I'll promise. I'll be here just for you. You want to go get something to eat, come back, enjoy it with us? That's fine too. You want to watch some grass grow? That's fine too. You want to see me thinkify? That's fine too. Okay, so that's created there. Do I have the rest of my virtual machines? There's 0, 1, and 2, which are the suppliers. They're badly named. In fact, next time I blow this away, I can correctly name them. All right, so we're back to the problem of the virtual machines for food. So here's what I want to do. Okay. Let's do boolean protect, and I will let this be governed. Are you giving me errors? All right, now should I protect it? Okay, this also goes for the NIC. So I need a new resource options here, and we're going to do protect is equal to protect. Okay, and why are you doing that? I get red squigglies, but there's no error there. All right, let's just do it this way. Now I'm going to create that VM, and I'm going to say if whether or not it's going to be protected. And what this is going to let me do is set. I'm just going to declare it as false for the food ones, but I'm going to go ahead and protect. I hate doing this. True. Okay. Clothing. Track is false, null, true to protect. I hate doing that. It adds mess to the calls. Yeah, what's for dinner, Frackberg? What's going on? Been a long day. It's so bad you don't want to get up and get some food. And true. Okay. Alright, so what I'm doing is I've set my flag for the other virtual machines to keep them. And I'll tell you what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and keep the availability set as well. No, let's be smarter than that. Okay. And then when I go to here, I'm going to protect it and say true. At this rate, probably a couple of eggs. It's too late for me to have a dinner. Have you ever noticed that if you needed to actually say something to be the most legit form of it, you have to double the word? You ever notice that? Are you going to go to the office, or are you going to go to the office? Are you going to go to your home or home? We always have to double that word. Might slip into a Seinfeld thing there. I just think that's weird. Okay, creating a new rule, creating a new, now the network security group. I'm going to do the same thing, except here I will say true. Protect the network security group. Now, the question here is, does... Yes, it does. Okay. And since it does, and there is a protect, we're going to do true here on the associations. That way I don't lose them either. Okay. Not every object is protectable. Like the args, I don't think they need to be protected. Okay. All right, I think we're good there. Let's see. Load balancer. I'll let it go. Okay, so with that there, what I'm going to attempt to do, actually I do want to say up, because I do need to update the, my office is now my home, or maybe my home is my office. Yeah, no, I get you. I'm in my home office, and it's my office away from the office. All right, cool. It's going to add, it sees the difference of being the protect field, and it's still going to attempt to create the virtual machines for food. Let's see what happens. What I'm doing for the up is basically updating the state with the protect, and I have to have them there so that when I do my destroy, and I hope it works. I don't know if it will or not. This is all an attempt at the moment. So if I do a destroy now, I don't want everything deleted. So let's see if I need to make this even more simple. Let's not create the food VMs or the load balancer. And if you're thinking this is quite a bit of a hassle, I mean, it's scripting, right? So, and because it goes and builds things, it needs to be right. So there's times when you're going to do a dance and try this and come back. Uh, yes, I do want you to delete that. Yes. But not the availability set. Oh. Shazbot. All right, fine. I will do it this way. So, yeah. Let's try that. Yep. Delete. It's going to delete a load balancer. Yep. The association. Yes, because it's needed to be gone. And then the nick for food. Yes, they need to be gone too. And if you're thinking, he really hides his white graying beard, yes, I do. All right, sweet. Check that out. It is deleted those by an update. Kept the availability set. Now let me confirm here that there are in fact no VMs for food. Fratberg is not going to get his food. The VM is not there yet. You have to stick around until the VMs are made and there's a load balancer. He's like, at this rate, it'll be breakfast. It's not getting to food. Oh man, that sucks. You think those grapes are going to really hold you over? If I did that, it should have nothing else to do. No, it's not. It's not my mic. It better not be my mic. Okay, nothing to do. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go build the VMs. Twitch hates you. You poor guy. Hang in there. You'll be okay. Okay, so I'm going to have this thing build out the virtual machines again in that availability set. Okay. No. I gotta save my file. Let it build a new, basically a project plan for this. And it should say 2 NICs and 2 VMs. There we go. I used to joke about, like, how can people sit there and watch somebody else play a game? And now we're sitting here watching me stare at a screen. Not a valid resource reference. Oh. The availability set comes in. Whoops. Go right here. And that availability set should be right here. It's not null. You'd rather watch somebody else play a game most of the time than watching me? Oh, Fragberg, that hurts. It hurts. Man. What do I want to do here? It's not null. It's not because I fed it in. So it should be getting the ID. Unless... so I'm back to that damn problem as I did last night. Availability set ID takes an input of type string. The ID is of output type string. That should be fine, I think. Right? Unless it doesn't like the fact that it's... Well, it's not nullable because it has an empty string here, but it doesn't know it. Okay, let's do it this way. Yeah, I think this will work better. We'll see. Yes. Let's see if that'll work better for it. The problem is it has an issue with, I think, I'm guessing what that is the ID for the availability set to give to those virtual machines. All right, let's go playing around a little bit. This is going to equal to a new output of type string. Okay. Which takes a task. I'm not going to do that. That is not what I want at all. Okay, so then what if it's not new? Do you have any... No, it's not going to take a task. What about output? Actually, it's not the output that I need to change, it's the input. I need to create an input. Okay, now string. Input takes the type of output. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. Trying to think here. I'd just like fall straight down. Wow. Fratberg, if that doesn't sum it up right there, Pulumi hates me. That's what it is. I do plink and I fall straight down. But I did, well, I'm surprised I didn't land on my head. I really don't want to do anything more drastic than this. So the thing is, I want to pass in the ID of the availability set to here, but only if it's going to be one that is used for that. So I only want to use it if it's not null. And it says, wait, that's of type string. You cannot put an output string to string. Mm-hmm. Now let me think for a minute. You found a giant spider. Well, that's cool. I mean, they don't eat much. I don't suggest eating them. They're not really high enough in protein. What are you doing trying to go to bed this late or this early at night? Still daylight out here. Okay, I'm gonna do something really, really drastic. It's 9 p.m. bedtime. Wow. Bedtime for me is like 11:30 to 1. Depends on the days. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I don't want to do it, but we're already kind of at the point of breaking general programming practices. All right, so what I'm going to do here is .id. Okay. And I don't have track. I'm going to do this here. Do that. And it cannot be nullable if it's called. And you get up at 5 a.m. 9 p.m. That's not bedtime. That's study time. I can't remember the last time I was asleep before midnight. Yeah. That's between 6 p.m. and midnight. That's the watch paint dry time. You just come to my channel and watch some awesome paint dry. Okay, so I'm not going to track this because it's not going to be for the food. I don't need that. So we'll narrow that down to protect. I can get rid of that. Get rid of the availability on this method call. And so if I build the VM that way versus building the VM this way, do I really want to track it? I'll just go ahead and say yes, but I can't do the default there. So Boolean track equals false. Okay. Now let me go fix my other things up here. For the food, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then false. Actually, I don't even need to do that now because the defaults for them are already supplied. Fratberg, thank you so much for coming, man, and hanging out. I appreciate it. Hopefully you do find some food. Or more grapes or something. Okay. All right, so now for this build, we just need to know whether or not to protect it, so that's going to be true. Okay. Too late for dinner now, missed your window. Are you on a diet? 5 a.m.s are good. Yeah, yeah. By then, yeah, they are. Okay, so now I'm just cleaning up my mess. I'm setting the VMs that are not for the specialized availability set to, yes, I want to protect them, so they can't be deleted. But now I do have an availability set. I'm going to feed that ID into here. It's very declared. Oh, yeah. Fratberg, you're younger than I am. I'm 46. What are you going on, about 35-ish? See how nice I am? You come here to watch paint dry and grass grow, and I'm going to treat you like royalty. Okay. I think we're good there. 8-bit music of War Pigs is hilarious. $39. See, you're a young fart. Absolute young fart. Whippersnapper. You're still a whippersnapper age. Not even in your 40s. Come on, work. Okay, it thinks it's going to create it. I'll look at the docs later on dealing with the input type string and an output of type string. Because if I want a, yeah, he's definitely a fart. Yeah, I never thought much about life after 21. Yeah. Well, this thing's not dying, so I think we have more paint to dry. So good deal. Good deal. Yeah, Frackberg, when you get into your 40s, you have to be careful about how you fall out of bed. You can't just let gravity do its job. You'll pull a muscle. That candle was hand poured by you. That is funny. And I will not. I will do a coating candle later, but not for a while. My youngest asked me today if there were movies when I was a kid. I was trying to recover from that wound. Yes, and some of our movies were in black and white. Yes. You definitely hurt yourself sleeping. Yeah. Wait till you get the mysterious AARP mailers and like, no, how do you know this? No, I'm not ready for this. No. And some even had sound. Back in my day, we just had to act and pretend like we were at the movies and watching somebody at the movies. Yeah, it was all pretend. We liked it, by God. We went to the movie theaters, uphill both ways. It was great watching the Rolling Stones when they were young. Keith Richards was such a young guy back then, back when he was teaching the Flintstones how to rock. Damn, I'm punny. Fratberg went to bed at the wrong time because it's only going downhill now. Yes, still here. Ah, Fratberg, you're hilarious. Got distracted by your. Oh, you got it. Are you affiliate? Did you make affiliate? Fratberg, did you make affiliate? Need confirmation first. Can't do a little dance for you if I did, but you have to fill out all the stuff. Sweet chicken, buddy. Man, that is awesome. Congrats. Congrats. I am two more streams away, and then I will be eligible as well. And part of that is thanks to you, because just mentioning that I was a few followers short, and you helped out, man. I really appreciate it. So everybody that's paying attention, check out Fratberg. He's going to be an affiliate really soon. He's now eligible and filling out the paperwork and signing his life away so he can get twitchy with it. Okay. All right. Now I've got two food VMs. I don't have the load balancer yet, so that's next. Don't check out. Tell me. I didn't misspell it, did I? No, I didn't misspell it. You had me looking. Okay, availability. All right, see, now we have an availability set. And this availability set has two VMs running in it. They're in different fault domains and different update domains. What this means is that should a rack in a data center have a power issue, it will not affect the other one. And when they do their Azure updates, as they do all the time, they will not be updated at the same time. That's what an availability set does for you. All right, cool. Now let's go back and build that load balancer. Okay, so if I go to my load balancer here, is there anything weird I need to worry about this one? Now, it might have the off. No, it should be fine. It should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and just let this thing build. I say that. This is the first time building a load balancer through Pulumi. But every time I've built a load balancer through the portal, I've never specified the availability set. It was defined by the first VM in it. Index out of range. Oh. Yeah, okay. Go back to here. Yep, I forgot to do track. We're going to call it true for this one. Yes, it needs to be tracked. That way I can get a hold of those VMs. Okay, let's do this. Trolling your own shout out. You, sir, are the ultimate troll. Yeah, he's in the running with Chris Jones. Wow. Awesome. I'm getting raided. And it actually worked this time. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate that. So, welcome, Raiders. That's awesome. I was rated earlier today and it didn't work. Hey, Callow Creation. Good to see you. Thanks for the follows. I appreciate it. Right. Yeah, I appreciate that. What I am working. Oh, actually, Mastermind. What were you doing on your stream? And technically, as new as I am to being on Twitch, thank you guys for the follows. I really appreciate it. Ah, Terraform, awesome. I like Terraform, but playing a lot with Pulumi tonight. So I'm rather new to being on Twitch and streaming and stuff. I'm really close to being eligible to affiliate. Still working on that, and so I'm trying to remember to. You're technically my first raid, so I really appreciate that, and I got to remember to ask those kind of questions. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And thanks for the follows. I don't have anything set up in front of me telling me who all followed, but thank you. I really do appreciate it. Okay, let's see. What I'm doing, I'll tell you right quick, is I'm giving a talk at Codepalooza, which is a conference coming up this week. And I will do a in chat is the link to the Codepalooza conference. I am giving a talk on Thursdays on microservices and on Fridays on Azure Networking. And in my talk on Azure Networking, I'm doing a medieval theme of a storyline, talking about a courtyard setup, and there's going to be merchants and suppliers and customers come in, and there's various activities happen. And then I'll talk about how that is kind of a, lack of a better word, overlay of how networking traffic happens in Azure. And so I'll talk about the virtual machines for suppliers, the virtual machines for the clothing merchants, the food merchants, the farming equipment, things like that. And the customers coming in there, that's the network traffic. And then so I've set up using Pulumi. This builds out a resource group. It's got a virtual network. It's got multiple subnets built out. Then I create virtual machines that exist in the different subnets. I built out a network security group that with a few rules to help govern traffic of what is allowed to get in to different virtual machines and those that are not allowed to get in. And right now I'm fighting with a problem that I was having last night where I was building out the load balancer for the two food virtual machines to give that scenario. The problem is that one of the virtual machines was put into an availability set and the other one is built to another availability set. They were not predefined. They just ended up that way. And the load balancer would not connect them. It was in two different availability sets. So tonight we moved to central region, didn't help. Now we're coming into specifically defining an availability set for just those two virtual machines. And now I've just ran this. It's created the load balancer, the backend address pool, the rules, and the network interface backend address pool association. This is what links the network cards to a load balancer, because you don't put a virtual machine to a load balancer, you put the NIC, because a virtual machine can have more than one NIC. So hopefully that was a good enough explanation. Let me know if that's not. All right, so let me come back to here. And getting caught up on some chat. Thank you guys again for raid and welcome. This is fantastic. Okay, so there's my virtual machines. And let's scroll up a bit. I've got my load balancer, which finally created correctly. And I've got my back-end pool. Got my virtual machines. Great. I got done exactly what I needed to do. So now that was the biggest item left on my list, was build the load balancer for the 2 food VMs. Now I'm going to go ahead and let it finish building the firewall and a route table. The fun thing about the firewall is that it is $2,000 per month. So it's going to be a short-lived item, but that's okay. All right, we're saved. We should be able to do. Now, if you're, for the new people, if you're new to Pulumi, it is a infrastructure as code library. And in my case, I'm using C#, but you can use, it's for multiple cloud providers, not just Azure. There's several, and in fact, using C# with Azure is actually relatively new. It just came around in January. But there's multiple providers, not just for clouds, but things in a cloud, such as Okta and Kafka, that you can build out through this. And I don't know if it's on this page, but someplace I have seen you can use things like Python, Go, C#, and I think there's 1 or 2 other languages that you can use. And yeah, here we go. TypeScript, Python, Go, and C# are the quick ones I've seen available to Pulumi. And it's free, although they do have a... Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I cannot... Rala Java? Hopefully I said that correctly. So there is pricing on this. I'm using the free version, but as soon as you have more of a team, then there's a price to it. And if you're going to do cloud hosted versus self-hosted, those kind of deals. So, all right, let me go and let this build out. I've ran Pulumi up, which says it's going to look at the differences in my code, and it sees that I'm setting this up to create the route table, a public IP address, and the route table associations, and that is the association to the subnets that applies to the route table, and then we'll create a firewall. And now we're going through the process of creating all this. So that'll take a few minutes, not terribly long. And then we can discuss after the route table is created. I can show you a little bit more about that. All right, so, and for those interested, while watching some paint dry, you can run drop and plink if you want something to play with for the moment. Okay, let's see. It's created, looks like it's created the route table, but it's got to do the association to the subnets. We got a public IP for the firewall. Oh, I actually landed on the thing this time. That's cool. And Sean got a headache. That's funny. And Frackberg is still here, buddy. That is hilarious. Okay. Still creating our resources. We'll have something out here in just a moment. You're not good at doing things. That's hilarious, Fretberg. I'm surprised you've stuck around this long on my channel. I really appreciate it, but I'm surprised you're been here this long. Hilarious and unsurprising. All right. Yeah, I really appreciate the raid. That's pretty cool. I didn't know I would already be seen on any kind of a list that would show me as available. So you're still waiting for Fretberg to ban you. If he bans you, I will remove his mod abilities. How's that? Now he's going to ban you just so I can remove his mod abilities. Yeah, please play with the drop and plink. Something to do while the paint is drying on the code running. And and as well, if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to ask. Oh wow. 77.8. Is that my last one? Huh. Oh, that reminds me as well. A quick shout out to Callow Creation. There we go. Check out his stream as well. And Callow Creation, I'm surprised you're not streaming right now. Or are you and you're on listening in on as well? Hey man, you're very welcome. I really appreciate you being here and checking this out. And no, I don't have all the fun stuff you do have, Callow. That yeah, you got some sweet streams there. I haven't even been on long enough to even play with all that. I don't even have the time just yet to worry about it. Oh, Tuesday through Friday. There you go. 2 p.m. till whenever. Until when he finally gets tired of messing with it. Okay. This thing says it's done. So let's refresh. Great. I've got a firewall. Yeah, you're making Callow blush. Aw. Be careful, Callow, though. Once Fratberg starts talking on your stream, he won't even eat. He won't even go to bed. I mean, it's just that bad. He really enjoys staying up. Okay, so I've got a firewall, and I've got the route table. And let's look at some details of the... don't judge you. Okay, I've got my route. Now, this is the thing I was wanting to point out about the route table is it is set up to with the association of the subnets that I have prearranged that I made earlier, but I also added a route that is to the address prefix of all zeros. And thanks for the follow, XP3 something. I don't have enough alerts, so it's really hard to read. There you go. XP3 ANUTX. Please don't ask me to spell that or to pronounce that. I'll pull a Fratberg. It's just going to be bad. Da, da, da. Yeah, there's some really cool programming streams out, and Callow Creation's got a really nice one. And he's got so much going on. It's really cool. So anyway, this route is all zeros, which means that if you are out to the internet, and so internet bound, this is forcing all of that traffic to go to one IP address. and this is the private IP address of the Azure firewall, then it's in control of whether or not it can get out, and to what address and things like that. So that's what that part does. It overrides the default internet bound address. And I will show you, certainly for the new people here. Let's go to where I build out this route table. Here I've got my internet bound route, all zeros, and I already knew the IP address ahead of time. Now I could, it's hard coded right now, but it doesn't have to be. I could have fed that in. And the thing about Pulumi, at least for me right now, is great programming practices are kind of set aside because you don't do much of that here. So then I create a route table, and then I associate the route table to the subnets that I want to manage the traffic of. Meaning that all of the virtual machines and the network traffic in each of these subnets, if they're wanting to go out to the internet, these are the subnets that are affected, and here's the route that's governing that. I don't have to do all the subnets. In fact, I could do multiple route tables, but a subnet can only have one route table associated to it. But you can have multiple routes set up if you wanted to. Then in the firewall, because I'm doing a very quick demo on Azure Networking, and I'm not going to have time to get into a firewall on Friday, this is just enough to do a configuration and then set up the firewall. What's this about? This is Pulumi, which is a infrastructure as code library, and I'm using C# to use this. And this is building out Azure resources. So I've just ran this, and it built out for me the virtual network, the resource group itself, built it out an availability set, and load balancer. It built out the network interfaces for me and the virtual machines, which, again, since it's a conference talk, it's going to be super quick. These are all very small virtual machines, and they're all running Linux, so they're actually very quick to build and very cheap to run. So this one is a B1MS, so it's just a one virtual CPU with 2 gig of RAM, and just running a 1804 Ubuntu. So very, very quick and easy on that. So what questions do you have? It's going to be a super quick until the demo gods say, "Mwah." No, that's true. Thanks, Frackberg. You're trying to jinx me already, and it's not even Friday. Don't worry, Frackberg. You troll, I will troll back. I'm more than happy to do that. And I'm sure we're going to be going back and forth doing that to each other. Okay. What shows up and breaks things? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have a hard drive to sacrifice, right? No, no, no. This is all cloud. I don't need to do that. You gotta sacrifice a hard drive? Now you're making me really scared. Okay. So now, like I said, I got I have my main agenda done. That's a bold move not to sacrifice anything to the demo gods. Yeah. I have presented enough times and have failed enough times. It'll just be fun regardless. Let's do this. Let's make out a see, now do I really want to do that? Because I'm going to be talking about an Azure front door and the Azure Traffic Manager and the Azure Application Gateway. Thank you for the follow, Little Reaper. Appreciate that. Azure Application Gateway. Now, how far do I really want to go with this? You know what the front door is? You know what a front door is. Oh, Sean, I'm so happy for you. Would you help Fratberg? I still think he tries to crawl out of a window. Okay, so on those particular things, I am a little light. I do know that the... No, it's not the front door. If I remember right. The DNS, the traffic manager uses DNS to control traffic. The application gateway, you can do things like SSL termination and a host of other things with that. So I'll tell you what, let's just do a build an app gateway. And let's see what else we're going to get ourselves into. Oh, yeah, Terraform. Now, is that a Azure front door? Is that what you're saying, Sean? Okay. Now, since I don't know what this thing expects, we're going to do this. We'll give it a name. This will be app gateway 1. And we'll do a new here. Okay, let's see. We're going to do name equals, get rid of that. Gateway 1. Let's see what other stuff. Oh, yeah, do the resource group. Yes, you set up a front door in front of our Terraform Enterprise instance. That is fantastic. Fantastic. I played with them just briefly, and that was about 8 or 10 months ago. It didn't solve the problem I was looking to solve, so I didn't dig anymore. Okay, what I'm doing is setting up the resource group name that it is to reside inside of and set the location to be the same location as the resource group. All right, now the SKU. Oh, I love that. A SKU block as defined below. Below what? There is no more below. Okay. Well, let's go to the docs and see. Now, this is a... No, I don't want the load balancer. I do want the application gateway. And if you see it before I do, you're welcome to yell it out. Azure, it may actually be inside network. Application gateway, there we go. All right. My biggest problem with front door, besides the WAF rules, yes, they can be a bit strict to start off with, was the back-end SSL needs to be signed by a trusted CA and can't be self-signed. That was one of the biggest problems I had with that. And it's like, I don't want to, it's too early for me to go ahead and start doing getting a cert for that. I'm still playing around with it, so that was one of the reasons I abandoned it. Okay, subnet, public IP, application gateway, SKU equals news application SKU args, standard small. Okay, I'll go with this. Gateway IP configuration, front end ports. So as far as I'm concerned at the moment, I'm going to steal this example. Instead of me fumbling around as I do. Let's see if I can get away with some of this. Okay. Now, one of the things I definitely want to get rid of is this. Come on, Visual Studio. There we go. Gee whiz. Yeah, get rid of those. All right. So application gateway, it's going to be a standard small one, capacity of 2. So what this does too is this is creating virtual machines behind the scenes, and it's running their software on that. Chances are it's Linux box, and but it's going to have their setup, and it's going to manage a lot of things through the IP tables. Now a front end IP, front end port name. That's all stuff from the other. Yeah, and a pip. I'll have to create a pip for it. That's fine. I can do that. Let me think. Let me think. Let me thinkify for a second here. What happened? Did I just like fall straight down again? Yes, I did. Man, that's sad. Okay. If that will work first. Nope. Yeah. Gotta line up my things here. Why does it think I am missing a braces? I don't know. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and steal a couple other things since I'm going to need. All right. The subnet is the back end. I will need a pip. And I do need some of the other stuff. So I will steal some of the other details out of here. All right, now let's get rid of some of the Arrhenius namespace items. This is resourcegroup.name. This is resourcegroup.location. It'll be dynamic, public IP address, which also means it is a basic and not a standard, because with a standard it has to be static. Okay, now I need the VNet. All right, let me think if how do I want to port that? Yes, I could. Let's see here. So I've got a private virtual network. And this will be my VNet. And then when I go to build my VNet here, I'm going to have this return a virtual network. There. And I will have this guy return, once he's done, return the VNet. Yes, there we go, return the VNet. Okay. And then when he's building the VNet here, this is what I'm going to do. Underscore VNet equals build the VNet. So I have that object returned, and he's done in the constructor, so he should be fine there. It's being initialized. Okay, now come down here and I can change these guys out to underscore VNet. Once I can spellify, I'll be able to do that. Rest of them, okay. Okay, front end ID. Front end of what? Front end, oh, okay, you want the subnet. That it is to, okay, so it's going to be like a DMZ. Okay. So what I could do then doesn't make sense to do it, but we'll do it anyway. Subnets, and we'll have my. Oh, I'll tell you what we can do. Food.id, because I have in my storyline the food merchants are not getting their supplies from the supplier tents. It's actually from another means. This is it. This could be that other means. Okay. Now, get rid of that. Redirect configuration name is not used. Why not? Redirect configuration name. Really? It sets it up, it doesn't use it? That seems a little weird. Okay. All right, so let's think about what this is doing here. Building an application gateway. It's going to create a pip, and from there, we will use its ID for the front end configuration. Yep, and have backend address pools, which is set up with the VNet name. Apply there. Okay, I see what it's doing. It's concatenating the VNet name. Ooh, interesting. That may solve another problem I was looking at earlier tonight. The apply. That's interesting. Okay. All right. So I don't need that piece there. It's going to create the application gateway, and cool. Let's just see what happens. I'll build this. Pulumi up, and let's see what happens. And Fratberg, since I know you're still awake, you're more than welcome to say hi or good night or something. Oh, you know what would be really smart? Really, really smart is if I actually called the method. And yes, Fratberg, you're not here. You're enjoying this way too much, Fratberg. Let's say no. Come on. Okay, now restart. Okay. All right, it's going to create the pip and an application gateway. All right, now let's see. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a drop, so we can do that. There we go. We're going to hit. We're going to bounce. Callow creation, that is hilarious. We've hit twice. That's funny. All right, we got an error. What is the error? Oh, okay, the food subnet cannot be used for an application gateway. Why is that? Why is that? Let me do something on OBS right quick here. Let's do that. Okay. What I'm going to do right quick is I am going to take a bio break. So if you'll forgive me for just a few minutes, I'm going to take a bio break and I will be right back. I've been streaming for over 2 hours, so it is time for a bio break. So I'll be right back. Okay, Fratberg, I heard what you were saying about me. I heard you talking. Um, yeah, I figured if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make some good changes, and I went to Stream Elements, and I picked a better theme than I had at the beginning when I first did this. So, um, but I also have some other things to tweak because I think where it says for the Twitter name, it still says Twitter. I need to go fix that. I got other things to do. Okay, now food cannot be used for the application gateway, the food subnet. Okay. Now, this might be one of those where and I've seen this before with the virtual network. I'm sorry, not virtual network. The virtual gateway has to have its own subnet. The firewall has to also have its own subnet, and they have to be very, very specific names. So, if that's true, then where it has created the subnet that it was using earlier, at some point I had a plan in my own, just one more thing to do on the to-do list. Yeah, exactly right. No, this is front end. Oh. I wonder if the reason I can't use the food subnet is because it's got a load balancer in the availability set, although it's not defined as it is. And this one is not a custom name for that subnet, so I don't have to worry about that. So let's pick somebody else. Let's just, instead of the food, which I thought at first might make sense, let's just go to suppliers. Let's do that one. Okay, let's try that now. I needed that stretch. Sitting here for over 2 hours, and I needed to stand up and. yeah, yeah, Fratberg. Where's those HTML, JS, and CSS skills? And if it's good, if yours is good, then I might let you make mine. Okay, it too cannot be. Oh, because it has other resources deployed, because there's virtual machines in there. Okay, then let's add a subnet. I do have room, right, Sean? Out of 1024, I'm at 768. I should be able to add another subnet. So let's go add another subnet. Now this one's going to be at the 3.0. And of course has to be different. So let's call this the app gateway subnet. There. And stop. Subnet app gateway. Okay, 3.0. And you can use MS Paint. Well, Fratberg, you laugh, but I'm willing to bet you're still using the hot dog editor. Oh wait, you're too young. Wow, wow, too young for the hot dog editor. You were still in diapers in the 90s, weren't you, Fratberg? Huh? You were. Let's do that. Okay, that'll use that subnet. You missed that. You were too young for what? The hot dog editor. Okay, Freiberg, listen. When you were in diapers, there was already internet. But in our day, there wasn't internet. We had bulletin boards, digital bulletin boards, and we liked them. And by golly, that's how we hitchhiked our way around the galaxy, among others. Okay, let's do that. Pulumi up. You did not experience that. The hot dog editor. All right, so when the internet went public in 1995, fall of 1995, one of the things that was quickly to come out was not only the editor, the HTML editor called Hotdog, as well as the GIF or YIF or GIF, however you want to pronounce it, of a under construction icon, and you had to have that because everybody's site was under construction. You had Prodigy Internet first, and then AOL on a compact computer, no less. That's all right. My first computer didn't even have a hard drive. Tandy 1000 HX, and I was happy to have it. I learned programming on it. I even did some x86 assembly language on that. Had a Wang. I swear that was a brand. A Wang. Yeah, I'm on camera, so I don't think I can go much more on that. A Wang. Never had one, but I remember 9600 baud modems. Yes, I remember that. Um, Grandparents had a Packard Bell. Yeah, Packard Bell compact. That was actually before Dell came about. Okay, this thing is creating the application gateway, which is great. I actually wasn't even planning on doing it tonight, but when I got rated and I got so many cool visitors, I thought, well, let's keep going. And if you guys want to stick around and learn some more, then we'll keep going. I'll probably go for another few more minutes, but oh yes, the Apple II. That was the first computer I was learning programming on, other than playing Logo back in fifth grade. Had Logo, and then later was the Apple II GS. Played Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and I wrote a for loop, printing my name, and then went, "What's the use of this?" Did not get it. Played with that for a little bit. Then I was playing on in the library. They had a computer that was Windows, sorry, or DOS. I mean, before Windows. Playing with DOS, and was poking around with different stuff, and I was using the debug command to jump into things, and it was a lot of fun. Gorilla was my first experience modifying code. Gorillas. Interesting. Never even heard of that. Apple II was fun. That's what we had in elementary school. My first programming was Apple Basic in school. Yep. Very cool. Uh-oh. If I fall straight, I'm going to win. I say win. I'm going to land well. That is... Does it get better than that? Does a drop get better than that? And don't tell me it was rigged, Fratberg. Wow, 86.96. Thank you, Calibration. That's funny. I can tell you it's so rigged. I took the URL, put it in the browser source, and went run. And yeah, it's how rigged it is. That's funny. QBasic game that came out with MS DOS. That's funny. I don't remember Gorillas. And I did do QBasic. And uh, was it Basic, QBasic, Basic A, and GW Basic? You made it in the 90s on F. Bashiro's stream. Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about in the 90 points. Okay. Pseudo run. Yeah, that's what it is. You caught me. Sudo drop dash dash direction equals straight uh down. Yeah, there we go. There you go, Callo. Right there. You use those special hacking commands. Yeah. I'll have to get with InstaFluff on that. See if there's any commands, uh, behind the scenes commands that he's got. That's funny. All right. And if you're listening in, or actually not listening in, and realizing that there's no music, I don't have music piped in yet, but I will. And just outside, oh, see, Callow, I'm sorry, that's just, it's kind of rigged. So, right out, it's going to get you out the outside. All right, the spider seems to have vacated the bed. Okay, wait a minute, Frackberg. You didn't kill the spider, you just hoped it went away. That spider's going to wait for you to get all snugly in your bed, and then it's going to go all snugly on your backside. And then you're going to hear that. You're going to say, those aren't pillows. You don't kill spiders and don't squirrel with me. Fratberg killed the spider. Somebody had a cartoon. It was a spider with a pocket knife flung out, like it was going to defend itself. Yes, planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm glad you got the movie reference, and I do have a lot of those. I'll be listening to somebody's stream, and I'll pick Callow Creation since he's here, and somebody go, okay, I got to put in my passcode on this, and I'll put in the chat 1 2 3 4 5, and then in quotes, that's the code to my luggage. Movie reference. Anybody get the movie reference? Name that movie. Spaceballs is correct. And I always forget who is the it's obviously Mel Brooks' character. I always forget the by Frackberg. Good night yet again. Number 5, I think. President Scroop or something like that. Scroop, something. Right. Still waiting for this application gateway to create. Since it's creating 2 virtual machines, I'm not surprised it's taking a little bit, but it's also setting up some other things behind the scenes that I don't know of which exactly it is setting up. So, new code project, counter for how many times Fratberg says he's going to bed. This is Fratberg trolling Fratberg. That's hilarious. All right, so I guess we'll have the Frackberg count, and I might even do that. I might just do that. Is set that up just so we can count how many times Frackberg going to bed and not going. Everyone is fair game. Well, everybody has a fair chance to kill a spider, Frackberg. You might want to kill that spider because it's going to get all snuggly with you. Ooh, no. No, no, no. That's a no for me. I've been stung by a scorpion where I'm at, which is away from, I'm a bad person. No. Spiders that are creepy crawling around the yard have a chance to live. If they're inside the house, they're gone. They're just gonna die. Sorry. But I've been stung by scorpions, and well, one so far. And we do get scorpions in the house every now and then. That happens. We're out in the, well, I say woods. We're not near a city, and I mean my internet is by smoke signals and broken promises. You add those two together, you get good internet signal there. So I mean, yeah, sometimes we get the creepy crawlies that get in the house. It happens. I got stung right on, I forget which finger, but right at the top of the nail bed, right at the cuticle area. I got up, something was on my back, I flung it off. That's when I got stung. But I had to get up because it was for a 2 a.m. production deployment. That sucked. That sucked. It hurt a lot. That is enough internet for you today. You heading off, John? Yeah, are you tired of watching paint dry? This is the one thing that sucks about doing Azure stuff or any kind of cloud is if you're going to wait for resources to be built. And I probably overlooked some warning that said may take up to 45 minutes to create because I know the VPN connection that does take 45 minutes to create. So I have no idea how long this is actually going to take. It's the first time of me doing it. So it's been 2.5 hours and I see people are dropping off. So I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. Mainly so that we can let Fratberg actually go snuggle up with a spider and hopefully get some sleep. Have you not watched the movie It? Seriously. So let's see who is on that would be fun to raid. All right, guys in chat, you tell me. Do you want to watch some D&D game playing, or would you be more interested in watching a robot being built? Those are the two friends that are technology related that are on right now. Is there any kind of a raid preference, or do you know of a channel that you would prefer? And while you guys are thinkifying on that, I will see if I could do a quick search for live channels that are doing some technology. Dungeons and Dragons. Let's do some. Let me look in programming and see who is. Oh, Milky Dev is on. We can do Milky Dev. You like the D&D? Now he's playing a game. It's not multiple people though. Now tomorrow night is when he's now Callow. Unfortunately, it's going to be while you're streaming as well. But tomorrow night he's going to have a group that actually does their role playing over the connection. So let's do this instead. Let's go ahead and go to Milky Dev. He is learning TypeScript plus WebSocket minus Snack Chat and React Node Express and Socket.io. That sounds interesting. Let's if you guys are up for that, let's do that. Because I know the rest of this paint drying is going to take a little while for it to actually dry to anything. That's cool. I just found myself in the list. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that, guys. Yeah, Calor, man, honestly, I really, really appreciate you being here. I think it's so cool you're checking this out and actually sticking around. I don't know why you're sticking around. It's not that great, but I really appreciate it. I really do. And Fratberg, man, go get some sleep. Sean, WW Sean is 008, and Musical Berkworm, another Sean. Those are the active ones I see. I don't know. XP3, if you're still on. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around. And yeah, man, I appreciate that, Cal. So we're going to do a raid. Let's head over to Milky Dev, who's doing some TypeScript and some other programming goodness. And then we'll send you over there. And you guys have a great evening. And go check out Callow Creation tomorrow night. Be some fun stuff. See you guys later.